What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the 1000 Toys Cuphead action figure with dynamic articulation. And so here we have the 1000 Toys Cuphead posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories. Cuphead does come with two different sets of eyes. We do get the happy expression eyes, then we do get the angry expression eyes. He also does come with several sets of hands. We do get a pair of fists, a pair of style pose hands, and then a pair of gun hands, which look really nice. Other than that, Cuphead doesn't come with any other accessories. I would like to see some effect pieces to go with him, but overall I think he comes with what you need. So with that out of the way, let's have a closer look at Cuphead. And so here we have a closer look at Cuphead, and this is my first dive into the 1000 Toys toy line, and I have to say I'm really happy with Cuphead here. Now if you guys haven't played Cuphead, I really recommend you do. It's a very challenging game and it's really fun to play, especially if you have a friend to play it with. Cuphead here looks just like he did in the video game, which I really do like. That he has that really big cartoony smile, his big eyes, his red nose, and then we do have a straw right here. And because he is a cup, you can see his head is in the shape of a teacup, which I do like that. It's a very good expression. You can see he has this really big smile on his face. I would have liked to see different heads where we got different expressions. I think that would have been really cool. But overall, it's still a very solid piece. I do like his head. Moving on to the rest of the figure, there's really not much detail to go on Cuphead. Now, he might look a little bit familiar in terms of style, and that's pretty much intentional. If you haven't played Cuphead, it has this really old school animation style feel to it, and Cuphead here does have features from the 1930s of cartoon characters, where he has the big old white gloves with the 3 marks on them, which looks really nice. And then harkening back to some certain characters, he does have the trousers. His torso is just red with tubes for arms. Again, it is accurate to source material, and they did a really good job of making it look very good. Normally when companies do this, they make the arms too long or something just doesn't look right. 1000 Toys did a really good job here with Cuphead, and as you can see, his torso looks like little trousers, and he does share the exact same body with Mugman, so he's not just exclusive to this mold. He does share it with his brother. So yeah, he is looking really cool here, and you can see he does have a different color for his legs. It looks more reminiscent of his head color, which I think that's a really cool little detail. And then he does have these big old shoes, and these shoes look very cool. They are oversized, just as you would expect a cartoon character from back in the day would be. Overall, there's really not much detail on Cuphead. He's basically a cup on top of a body with some big old shoes and some cartoony gloves. So yeah, it's a very simplistic figure, but that doesn't mean there aren't some details in here. You can see right here on his head he does have his straw, and then right here it does have some ripples, like the straw is actually in liquid. It's just a solid piece of plastic, but it is something to note. That little detail does go a long way. So overall, like I said, there's really not much to go over with Cuphead here. He's pretty simplistic in terms of his design, which that is intentional. That's how he looks in game. So yeah, I really can't fault him on that, and it looks very neat, especially when you have him in hand. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Cuphead compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Cuphead posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Cuphead posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Cuphead posed next to a Lightning Collection White Range and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And for one final comparison, here we do have the 1000 Toys Cuphead posed next to the 1000 Toys Mugman. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at Cuphead's articulation. Now, Cuphead does have a swivel here on the top of his head, so his straw does go all the way around, and I do like that little feature. You can actually, I don't think it's supposed to pivot up and down, it's just supposed to have that swivel. But yeah, it does swivel all the way around, which is really nice. He does have a ball joint here in the head, so that does allow him to tilt his head side to side, which looks really good on a cartoony character. He can turn his head left and right, look up and down on that ball joint, so that's really good there. But then he also does have a hinge in the neck, which does let him look up to about right there. So combining both the ball joint and the hinge, he looks up pretty far. And then combining both of them, he does look down quite a bit as well. And again, because it is a really big ball joint with a significant opening, we do get some really nice head tilt. His arms are on his body via ball joint. As you can see, you can actually pull it off, and I do like the way they designed this. You can see it's just a ball joint covering, and it does allow for some all the way out horizontal movement, so that is pretty good. As far as going all the way around, as you can imagine, it will go off to the side just because of how he's designed, but you might accidentally pop the arm off when you do it. It's not a big deal, it is a ball joint, so it can pop off and just pops back in. So you're mainly going to get to about right there before his arm gets stressed and pops off the joint. So that is a little bit unfortunate. He does have a bicep swivel, which is pretty impressive. You wouldn't think it with how small his arm is, but yeah, we do have a bicep swivel. We have a single bend in the elbow, giving us a very nice 90 degrees. We have a ball joint here at the wrist, although it's pretty sunken in. The joint is pretty much like right here on his finger, so it goes all the way deep into his hand, so you really only get a rotation there, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's nothing that you can't work around. He has a ball joint here in the torso, which I really do like that. He leans side to side very nicely, arches back and forward, so I do like that. And of course he does rotate. Although you can see if you rotate too much, you do start to split his torso, so do be aware of how far you rotate him. I really wouldn't rotate him anything past that. If you do, you might split his torso and probably break the figure. As far as his legs go, his legs surprisingly have some good articulation, because his pant leg right here is just a floating cup, so that does go to about right there, so it goes all the way horizontal, goes pretty decently back, out to the side, almost does a full split actually, so I really do like that. We do have a thigh swivel up high. We have a single bend in the knee, giving us a little bit better than 90 degrees. We have rotation here at his foot. We do have a rotation here at the toes. You can see, well, it's hard to describe. It's not really his toes that swivel. It's more like his foot rotates on that joint. So yeah, it does have rocker ankle. So you can see he goes very deep. I do like that. Then we have a hinge which goes back, which unfortunately you can see that joint in there, and it's not the color of his shoes. I would have liked it if it was the shoe color. Goes forward a little bit, but yeah, it goes back more than it goes forward. And then we do have a toe hinge, which works kind of weird because you can see it really doesn't make his foot work any better. They could have easily just omitted that joint and nothing would have changed, to be quite honest. So overall, Cuphead, despite being a smaller figure with weird proportions, actually has some pretty decent articulation, especially for his size. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Cuphead posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the 1000 Toys Cuphead pose for my final thoughts, and overall I really do like the way this figure came out. Now, it's not the most articulated or dynamic figure in the world, do keep that in mind. He does have some really limited articulation, but for the style of character, I think the articulation is perfectly fine for Cuphead here. Now, if you've played the game, you know that they really do a lot of running and jumping, and unfortunately can't get them into jumping poses because they do a lot of flips and somersaults, but you can get him in a really good running pose, and I really do like that. Cuphead here looks fantastic, and he does look like he does in the game, so I can't really fault the figure for its overall design. Yes, it doesn't lend itself to some super articulated poses, but what you get, you basically is all what you need for Cuphead. Now, if you are looking for Cuphead, I did get mine from Big Bad Toy Store, where you will be looking at about $60 for Cuphead. Is he worth the 60 bucks? In my honest opinion, I really don't think so. Cuphead here really doesn't come with as much to warrant the $60. And yeah, you can argue that it's a unique mold, but it is a unique mold shared by 2 characters. And yeah, I don't think the 60 bucks is really worth it for this figure, but I do understand why. It's an import figure, and I know a lot of care went into this figure. A few more effect pieces and maybe some alternate heads would have gone a long way for 60 bucks, but overall, Cuphead here still looks fantastic. If you're a fan of the Cuphead video game, you're going to want to have Cuphead and Mugman in your collection, because you can't have one without the other. They look great when they're posed together, and I really do recommend you pick them up. With that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other action figure and unboxing videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll gladly have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified anytime I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.